Why should you avoid living in the campo in rural Spain? It's the Spanish dream. It's very peaceful. And it's beautiful too, but there are many reasons why it might not be just right for you. And you should take these into consideration before you make a decision about exactly where to live in this gorgeous country. Oh, all right then. Tell us the reasons. Stick around and I will. Welcome to YouTooSpain. Let's dance. So you're thinking of moving to Spain and settling in the peaceful countryside away from the hustle and bustle of the cities. Hold on. No need to be afraid, Walter. I only want people to avoid some of the pitfalls and know what to expect from their new life in Spain. It's common sense. That's right, Tommy. So let's get straight into it. Can we do a list? Yes, we can. Do the numbers, Walter. Number 1. Utilities. Electricity and gas. Yes, and oil, water and broadband. There'll probably be more times when some of these services will experience difficulties if you're living in the campo compared to living in a town or a city. Why is that? Well, if you're living in a town and there's a power cut, it tends to get fixed more quickly because it will be affecting more properties. And it's easier to access the problem. But if it's only 1 or 2 properties and the fault is somewhere on a very long cable, you'll be out of power for longer. I won't be able to dry my hair. Use a towel, Tommy. And, most of these things I'm going to talk about have a workaround, or it's an opportunity to enjoy a simpler life. I like the simple life. Good for you, Walter. So if that's what you're looking for, you might not be worried about not having speedy fibre broadband, for example, or even reliable broadband. I need water. That's true. We all need water. And in most campo houses, you'll get water delivered into your storage container, and you'll need to keep an eye on how much you've got and how quickly you use it up, especially if you have visitors or if there's a leak somewhere. Oh dear! You'll need to have the phone numbers of at least one reliable water company and a plumber that's willing and able to arrive quickly. And the same for gas and oil if your property uses those. You can get gas bottles delivered in most places, but make sure you develop a good relationship with the delivery man and give them plenty of notice if your property takes time to reach. What about the phones? Let's make a separate point of that, shall we? Number 2. Telephones. The further away from town you are, the more chance you'll have of a dodgy mobile phone signal. Coverage is pretty good in Spain, but wherever you are, check with people in the area to find the best company. You don't want to be stuck without a phone if there's an emergency, or if you just want to call your folks, or if you're feeling lonely. Number 3. Loneliness. Being on your own, or just the two of you, can be perfect for some people, but as the lockdown proved, it's not for everyone. Most working couples only spend a few hours a day together. And it can be quite a shock to be holed up for 24 hours a day with somebody you only thought you knew very well. My wife's got habits. Well, I bet you have too, Tommy, so bear that in mind. Number 4. Fire! Where? It could be anywhere. No! Sadly, yes. When it's dry, and that happens quite a lot, especially in the south of Spain, you get wildfires. We've had 5 or 6 in the last year near us, and some were right next to our house, and we're just outside a village. Haven't they got a fire brigade? They have, and a very good one it is too. They got here really fast, and the locals are so quick to help them as well. But if you're way out in the campo, there are fewer people to report fires, they're more difficult to get to, and they're further from water, so even the fire helicopters take more time to reach the problem. You're making me panic! Sorry, Walter, but if you've moved from somewhere colder and wetter, you need to be aware of these things. I just drive really fast and get away from it. That brings me very nicely to the next reason. Number 5. Roads. Now, if you've been to Spain, and I'd advise you to do that a lot before moving, you'll know that some of the roads in the campo can be a bit tricky and scary. I'm not scared. Good. If you've got the right kind of vehicle, like a 4x4, you'll find it easier to navigate the rough tracks and steep inclines you get to houses in the campo. But it's not just that. It's the time it takes to get from place to place when the roads are difficult to drive fast on. Which brings me to number 6, access to services. Like what? Well, you might think you're always going to be healthy and fine. But the majority of people that want to live a peaceful life are retirees, and when it takes you half an hour to drive to the nearest town where the chemist and the doctor is, and the nearest big hospital might be even further away, you need to consider being a bit closer, just in case. Having to pick up prescriptions might take you an hour's driving, and that's going to use up fuel. Are you close to a petrol station? Number 7. Access to shops. Yes, you're going to need food. Well, that's obvious. It is, but unless you've lived half an hour away from the nearest shop and even further from a big supermarket, you might not have realised how well you have to plan your meals, especially if there are power cuts and your freezer isn't reliable. Oh dear, what if I need milk? Exactly. Or what if you want to nip out to the local cafe or restaurant or bar? I'm off to the pub. Good luck, Tommy. It's 20 minutes drive down the mountain and too far to walk, so you shouldn't really be drinking at all. No! I'm afraid so, especially going up and down mountains. Number 8. Public transport. If you're not close to a town or village and your house is up a rough track, then you're not going to be near public transport or even a taxi company. So having a car, a reliable car, is a must. But what if it breaks down? Just go to a mechanic. But the nearest one is 5 kilometres away and he's busy today. Then there's a fiesta tomorrow, so he's closed until Monday. And then you might have to order new parts, so you won't have a car for about a week. You're not very optimistic. Just being a realist, Tommy. Number 9. The post office. They only deliver to properties in the cities or towns or villages. So how do you get your Amazon deliveries and your Christmas cards? You have to get a post box in your nearest town. Sometimes there are shops in the villages that have that service, but you have to be aware of their opening hours and whether they take larger parcels. Some of them don't. It's worth knowing before you buy or rent a property whether there's a good service nearby. I can do with that. I don't need very much. That's good, Tommy. But what about your relatives? What are you saying about my family? Are they going to want to visit you? Number 10. Access to the airport. It's worth checking how long it takes to get to the nearest airport and whether your friends and relatives can get to that airport directly. And, if they have children, how far are you from places they can go for fun and entertainment? That should be another number. Yes, it probably should. And there are more little things like that to consider, like can you stand the silence? Or equally, can you stand the sounds of animals in the countryside? Or the neighbours' dogs or goats? Bah, bah, bah. But I think I'll just keep this video to 10 reasons. It's a nice round number. And I don't want to put anyone off living in the campo. It's too late for that. I'm terrified. Don't worry, Walter. The thing is, loads of people live in the campo and loads of people love it and get used to the limitations. They're not limitations. They're only opportunities. Well said, Tommy. Is everyone happy? Yes, thank you. I'm very happy. Excellent. Then it's worth clicking on the like button and subscribing. Okay. Shall we do the dance again? Why not? Peace and love. Peas and fluff. Oi, oi. Let's boogie.